Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, 2 Israeli women taken hostage by Hamas are free this morning. Here, why Hamas released the hostages. And several fires flared up across Victoria County yesterday. A fire at an apartment complex led to some residents having to evacuate. We'll tell you all about it. Plus, the auto workers' strike continues to grow. Stellantis saw 6,800 union members walk off the job at their largest plant in Michigan yesterday. We have the details on this story and more straight ahead.
And believe it or not, we're going to have some shower chances for the rest of the week and weekend, and a cold front coming this weekend. We're going to take a look at that and the weather coming right up.
The Rangers are heading to the World Series. We have the highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 24th day of October 2023. The time is now 6:31 on our Tuesday morning, and it is a National Food Day. We have a question of the day. Just for the occasion.
Just for the day.
We actually already answered it, but you can still take part on our Facebook
Well, we
page.
actually never answered, so I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite food? Do you have a favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food. So it's not part of my approved list of foods for my diet, but I do love charro beans.
Oh,
they're
boy.
so yummy.
Sounds pretty yummy.
And they're healing too.
Oh, really? I was
Oh,
gonna say,
I
I'm a
think
big chili and Mexican food kind of guy. I love Mexican food.
What's your favorite? Do you like enchiladas?
Oh, I'm a big burrito guy.
Burrito.
I love just a giant burrito.
And is it the green sauce or the red sauce that you like?
I think I'm gonna go. Ooh, actually, that's a tough one because both are yummy.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Let me know later on in the show.
Definitely.
You have time. Let's take a look at that forecast. Parker, you were saying that it's going to get quite chilly later this week.
Yes, believe it or not, it is going to get chilly next week as we're going to get a cold front coming through our neck of the woods on Sunday. But we're looking at the rain chances for today. We're taking a look at the live radar right now. We got a couple showers out there as we speak. Couple coming through. One just passed through Edna right now, and one also just passed through Port Lavaca, and another shower actually heading towards Port Lavaca and Port O'Connor as we speak, but nothing severe is expected, maybe just some moderate to heavy rain in those showers. We're going to take a look at that timing for today. Showers might be out of our neck of the woods by the noon time, as you can see on the future track here. Couple showers in the vicinity by in the morning hours, and then tapering off in the afternoon. Look at that, nothing on the radar expected for this afternoon. Well, what's going to go on for the rest of this week is we're going to have this low. It's diving deep into the Mexican continent right there, or excuse me, Mexican country rather, and that's going to move northeast into the Great Plains by Wednesday and Thursday. And that's going to give us a good shot of strong lift and southerly flow, giving us some good shots at showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, maybe even potentially strong thunderstorms on Thursday. And that's going to come ahead of the next system. It's going to move, dive into the Dakotas, and it's going to spawn a strong cold front. It's going to make its way into our neck of the woods by Sunday evening, bringing us potentially into the 70s and maybe even 60s perhaps. But we're going to take a look at those temperatures that are forecasted next week in just a few moments as we look at that full forecast. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Hamas recently released 2 elderly Israeli women held hostage in Gaza Monday. Video from an Egyptian state television network showed the 2 freed hostages, an 85-year-old woman and a 79-year-old woman, were taken out of Gaza at the Rafah crossing into Egypt. The 2 were transferred from a Red Cross vehicle to ambulances waiting for them at the border, and they were treated by medics. The 2 women, along with their husbands, were taken from their homes near the Gaza border during Hamas's rampage into southern Israeli communities 2 weeks ago. Their husbands were not released. Hamas said it had released them for humanitarian reasons days after freeing an American woman and her teenage daughter. An off-duty airline pilot will face 83 charges of attempted murder today after trying to crash a plane on the way to San Francisco. The suspect was hitching a ride in the cockpit, which is common when pilots travel to other cities for work. Sources say before the incident, the suspect made a comment similar to, "I'm not right."
This morning, the FBI is investigating after an off-duty pilot allegedly tried to crash a passenger plane. Alaska Airlines Flight 2059 left Everett, Washington for San Francisco Sunday, packed with 80 passengers, and in the cockpit, 44-year-old Joseph Emerson, an off-duty pilot with Alaska Air, hitching a ride in the jump seat. Soon after takeoff, officials say Emerson tried to cut the plane's engines by pulling the fire extinguisher handles, known as the T-handles.
The T-handle, which is what this individual tried to pull on each engine, actually turns the engine off and prepares it for a fire extinguisher. The problem is, at high altitude, you can get the engines restarted. At low altitude, there could be a fatal result.
The crew was able to overpower Emerson, handcuffing him to a seat in the cabin.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit. Doesn't sound like he's causing any issue in the back right now. I think he's subdued.
The pilots then diverted to Portland, where Emerson was taken into custody.
After we did land and the gentleman was escorted off, the flight attendant got back on the speaker and said, plain and simple, he had a mental breakdown.
The FAA relies on pilots to self-report any mental health conditions during annual visits with aviation medical examiners. Pilots only get additional psychological testing if it's requested by their examiner. The FAA recently acknowledged hiring additional mental health professionals. As for Joseph Emerson, a neighbor described him as friendly.
We just can't imagine him doing anything that would hurt anyone.
Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
FAA records show Joseph Emerson received his latest medical clearance just last month. Investigators say this incident was not related to events in the Middle East or current events. They're looking through Emerson's social media. Several homes in Summerstone Apartments were evacuated yesterday after a fire broke out inside of one of the apartment homes. Some residents say they woke up to the smell of smoke, and some even say they saw smoke inside of their apartment. The fire started around 7 o'clock yesterday morning. Rita Ibarra says she's thankful the fire was not any worse.
We saw the smoke coming out of the hall. We got everybody out of the house and then it started flaming up a little bit inside the water heater. So then we got the people from upstairs out. So for their safety, you know what I mean? So we got everybody out of the building so everybody's safe. So that's what matters.
Crews say a malfunctioning water heater near a bathroom is what caused the fire to start. The fire was contained and no one was hurt. There was an outbreak of fires in the city of Inez yesterday morning. Those fires broke out around 4:30 a.m. yesterday. One fire destroyed a home in the 1300 block of Live Oak Drive, and in the 200 block of Live Oak Drive, firefighters found 2 camper trailers on fire there. No one was hurt. Authorities are treating the fires this morning as arson, and this is the man who they suspect started the fires. He's in custody right now on other charges, but authorities do expect arson charges to be handed down. 32-year-old Cody Dawson was arrested around 6:20 a.m. as he was walking along FM 444 near Salem Road. Deputies say Dawson became violent when they tried to take him into custody. He's charged with 2 counts of assault of a public servant, resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance. Dawson is being held without a bond. A man suspected of stealing from a business in Wharton is now in custody of police. Surveillance video caught the man in action. Richard Cantu Jr. of Rosenberg captured stealing an RV from the business in the 600 block of North Richmond Road. Authorities have recovered the RV. Cantu facing felony theft charges and additional charges are pending. Hallettsville police arrested 22-year-old Lane Jeffrey Wright of Hallettsville. He's accused of evading arrest in a motor vehicle. Wright was arrested after driving a motorcycle at a high rate of speed, which turned into a brief chase. That chase ended near the intersection of FM 2314 and East 4th Street. Wright is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of a $25,000 bond. The United Auto Workers strike expanded Monday to include another Stellantis plant. UAW President Shawn Fain joined about 6,800 union members as they walked off the job yesterday at Stellantis' largest factory that produces Dodge Ram pickup trucks, a big seller for the company and their most profitable vehicle. Yesterday's move comes after Fain reported Friday there was some progress in talks with General Motors and Stellantis, but that they have still not gone far enough with their contract offers. The strike is now in its 6th week, covering 7 assembly plants, 38 warehouses, affecting all 3 automakers. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now just about 6:40 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Learn how a local school district plans to combat vaping by students.
Israel is ramping up its war against Hamas in Gaza. I'm Ike Ajachi reporting in Washington. Coming up, what the U.S. military is considering in the region.
And coming up right after the break, we're going to take a look at that school bus forecast, the allergy report, and that live radar as there's still a couple showers in the area. Let's take a look at that weather forecast coming right up. Well, good morning, Crossroads. We're looking at a live look at Victoria right now. It's actually the Utah North Hospital, and current conditions are actually quite nice out there with a couple showers still lingering around. We'll take a look at that live radar in just a second. That ambient temperature right now about 75, with that dew point at 72. They'll bring that humidity to a 90%, so that's pretty much quite normal down here in the Crossroads and on the coast. Well, if you're sending your kiddos off to school this morning, it's supposed to be about 76 with a couple showers still hanging out in the area. And as we head back home in the afternoon, about 3-4 p.m., 85 degrees that afternoon high with partly cloudy skies and with those showers pretty much dissipating by the afternoon. Take a look at that live radar right now. We do have a couple showers still out there on the scope. One pulling up into Port Lavaca and maybe even Port O'Connor as well. And one just passed through Edna heading north right now. But other than that, nothing else really. Well, it is going to be a really windy day today, tomorrow, and on Thursday as they got some strong southerly flow out of the Gulf, making it a good day to have some, I mean, not a good day, but a rather fair day for allergies today. So might want to take an allergy pill today because you got some good pollen in the area. Trees, grass, ragweed pollen, all moderate levels today. We're going to have more on that in just a few more moments. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. The final game of the American League Series was last night, and the Rangers came out on top. 25 News Now Sports Director Gino Perez has the highlights.
Howdy, Crossroads. Game 7, Astros Rangers. Let's check out the highlights. In the top of the first inning, Corey Seager, goodbye baseball. This is his third home run of the postseason and probably the biggest of his career. Still in the top of the first, this is a shallow hit blooper into left center, and it gets down and bounces away, which brings home 2 runs home to make it a 3-0 lead. Now Max Scherzer on the mound. He pitches it to Abreu. Abreu down the line, and it is a fair ball, bringing in one more run, making it just a 2-run game. But Adolis Garcia doing what he's been doing all season long, especially in the postseason, a bomb similar to the previous games hit in the 9th inning. Well, Bregman, he goes tit for tat for that, and this one goes off the wall, gone. The Rangers would still catch fire, though, and take a 10-2 lead. Final score would end up being 11-4. The Rangers are heading to the World Series for the first time in 12 years. That's your 25 Sports Now.
Thank you, Gino. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now on to the latest on the war in Israel. The U.S. now weighing options to respond to Iranian-backed militants in the Middle East. This as the Biden administration continues to urge Israel to delay its planned ground invasion in order to free more hostages.
This morning, ABC News learning the U.S. military is weighing more options to respond to Iranian-backed militants in the Middle East after Israel ramped up its war against Hamas in Gaza. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the U.S. is ready to protect its interests in the region.
We're going to do what's necessary to make sure that our troops are in the right, good position, they're protected, and that we have the ability to respond.
The White House accusing Iran of actively facilitating rocket and drone attacks on U.S. military bases in the region, from Syria to Iraq and beyond.
I don't believe that Hezbollah leadership does want to get involved, but ultimately they're going to get a lot of guidance from Iran.
The Biden administration has advised Israeli officials to consider delaying its ground invasion in order to secure the release of more hostages. This dramatic video showing the moment 2 elderly Israeli hostages, 85-year-old Yoshev Lifshitz and 79-year-old Nurit Kupfer, were released, arriving at the border between Gaza and Egypt. The U.S. says efforts are ongoing to secure the release of 10 Americans and about 200 other hostages still being held. This as humanitarian humanitarian aid into Gaza is still trickling in. At Egypt's Rafah border crossing, a relatively small amount of aid, just 20 trucks, getting into Gaza for the third day. Hundreds more trucks filled with badly needed water, food, and medicine waiting to be cleared. Israeli Defense Forces say 3 Hamas deputy commanders were killed overnight after troops carried out an attack in what they're calling a military compound owned by Hezbollah. The IDF says the attack was in response to launches from Lebanon. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Washington.
House Bill 114 called for a comprehensive vaping education program, so VISD decided to follow suit in their own way. The National Youth Tobacco Survey reports more than 2.5 million middle and high school students used tobacco products in 2022. VISD says the district sees vaping in students as young as 5th grade. However, VISD plans to stop the issue at their schools. Their plan is to create a course to educate students about the effects of vaping.
Class has allowed us to really think outside the box and think through how can we help kids and at the same time empower parents to have the conversations at home.
The school district strictly prohibits any tobacco or e-cigarettes, including vapes. Now, when students are caught with vapes on campus or at school events, the student and their parent are required to come to the course. The Catch My Breath course is mandatory for offenders of the vaping rules and their parents or guardians. Absences could impact placement in the disciplinary alternative education program. The course is every Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon. The time is now 6:48 on your Tuesday morning. Still to come, you may be able to take your flu vaccine at home next year.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, if you were stuck around yesterday, I'm sure you saw some good rain yesterday. Take a look at those rainfall totals that we had yesterday. Look at that, a solid about quarter-inch around throughout our region, but with a couple areas maybe reaching up to half an inch, maybe even a solid inch or so in the Port Lavaca and Port O'Connor area. But we're going to take a look at what's going on the rest of this week. We're going to have that low diving deep south into the Mexican country, and that's going to move northeast into the central Great Plains by Wednesday and Thursday. And that's going to give us a good shot of some strong lift, giving us a good shot at some more showers and thunderstorms by Wednesday and Thursday. But then after that, we're going to have a cold front that's going to move through our neck of the woods by Sunday evening, bringing us to what? Possibly the 70s? Could that be possible, Carolina? Maybe even 60s if we get super lucky. But we'll take a look at that chance of that cool down in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Speaking of that cool down, Parker, with cold weather often comes the flu. So we want to share this news with y'all. Next year, you may be able to take your flu vaccine at home. The FDA is reviewing an application for the nasal spray flu vaccine, FluMist. The vaccine, which is the only nasal spray option against flu, has been on the market since 2003. Drug maker AstraZeneca asked the FDA to allow adults ages 18 to 49 to be able to give themselves the vaccine or give it to children as young as 2 years old. The drug maker cited a usability study showing people can do it properly without a health care provider present. Patients would still need to go through an online pharmacy system to order the vaccine, which would then be shipped to their home. If approved, FluMist would be the first flu vaccine cleared for self-administration. The CDC recommends everyone ages 6 months and older to get a seasonal flu vaccine every year, but fewer than half of Americans get vaccinated. Health authorities hope the option of a self-administered vaccine will increase uptake. That leads us to your viewer poll. Let's take a look at how y'all are answering. We ask, do you plan to get your flu shot? Okay, let's take a look. 54% of you say you already did it. And 23% of you say yes, you do plan to do that. And 23% of you say no, you do not have plans to get vaccinated. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. And still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. One person is dead after being shot by police officers in Wisconsin on Monday. One person is dead after being shot by police officers in Wisconsin on Monday. Authorities say it started around 7 p.m. Germantown police responded to a subject behaving erratically in the parking lot of Kennedy Middle School. They say the individual climbed onto the school's roof and 2 officers pursued on foot. The suspect discharged a firearm and officers returned fire, striking that individual. The suspect died at the scene. At the time of the incident, 50 to 70 students were inside the school. Early voting in Victoria for the November 7th election started Monday. The numbers from Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 83%, or rather 83 people voted in person early Monday. 28 mail-in votes were received Monday, making a total of 264 mail-in votes received so far. And Texans are voting on 14 constitutional amendments. Early voting runs through next Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and next Thursday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can vote at the Dr. Penny Dodson Public Health Center. That's at 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. One constitutional amendment on Proposition 3 would ban the imposition of a wealth tax. This proposition would ban the imposition of a tax based on the wealth or net worth of an individual or family. Election day is Tuesday, November 7th. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is said to participate in a United Nations Security Council ministerial on the situation in the Middle East today in New York. The secretary will also meet with counterparts and UN leaders on Monday. 2 elderly Israeli women were held hostage in Gaza and they were released. The U.S. has expressed an increasing concern that escalating the war will spark a wider conflict in the region, including attacks on American troops. The U.S. has advised Israel to delay the expected ground invasion to allow time to negotiate the release of more hostages. TxDOT wants input on a long-range plan that will guide transportation priorities in the state through 2050. TxDOT will host an open house from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday at the Victoria College Emerging Technology Complex. That's at 7403 Lone Tree Road. Residents will have an opportunity to fill out a survey providing input on the plan. The survey asks residents to rate different types of transportation strategies in 6 categories. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. I've been using it myself to watch the evening newscast. You can find it on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we do have time for a final check of our forecast with Parker. Don't let these warm temperatures deceive you because chilly weather is on the way, isn't it?
Yes, it is on the way. We're going to take a look at that in just a second because we still got a couple of showers out there on the live radar right now. One shower just passed through Edna. It's heading north, so that's pretty much out of our area right now. But a couple really weak showers kind of lingering around out near Port Lavaca and Port O'Connor right now. But the showers are expected to taper off by noontime as you take a look at the future tracker here. A couple showers still expected in the morning hours, but by noontime in the afternoon, nothing is expected in our area this afternoon. Take a look at what's going to go on the rest of this week. We're going to have this low that's diving deep south into Mexico right now. It's going to move northeast into the Great Plains, giving us some lift for showers and thunderstorms this week. But then after that moves off northeast, we're going to have that cold front. Look at that. Big, giant, strong cold front make its way to our neck of the woods by Sunday evening, bringing us to perhaps the 70s and 60s maybe even next week. We're going to be taking a look at those cooling down temperatures in just a few more over the next few days. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join James, Don, Matt, Karina, and Gina today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.